Garcia from cybr-cli here to showcase the cyber-cli that myself and Andrew Copeland of cybr-cli have been maintaining and kind of getting up to speed and really expanding and getting it to become the new Swiss Army knife for as far as CLIs go, at least, when dealing with cybr-cli products. We've been really expanding a lot in the latest release here, which we're on v0.0.4-alpha. If I run cybr or cyber version, you can see I'm on the latest version that you're looking at this video now wondering, hey, what features, what releases do you have coming? You know, what are your release notes? Well, GitHub supports videos now, so I figured, hey, why not just shoot a quick video and show you how it works. Definitely follow the README on how to install it, but if you found this video, you've obviously made your way to the releases page, and you can download an executable that works for either Mac OS, Linux, or Windows. All are supported, all do work, and all wrap the REST API provided by cybr-cli PaaS. There's also a client library available that goes along with this CLI, and that was really the main reason why we started this project as a whole, was to create a Golang-based client library for the cybr-cli PaaS REST API and make our development internally easier. But you know, why not create a CLI on top of it, wrap the API, and make your job easier as well? So I'm going to show you some of the new features, some of the expansions we've done, and things like that. Once you get this installed, definitely follow the README. You have it in an executable folder, you know, whether that's user local bin, your user homes bin if you're on Mac or Linux, or from a Windows perspective, just choose any folder that's in your path environment variable, and you should be good to execute this from a command line. I'm running a Mac, obviously. But doesn't matter. The experience is going to be the same either way. So as far as how we can get help, we can run cyber help and get all of the different available commands from here. Now there are sub commands that can be ran as well within each of these different available commands. And a real easy way of figuring those out is like, hey, I need to do some account actions. So I'm going to use the accounts available command, which is the first one in the list. So I can run cyber accounts and see, oh cool, I can add an account, I can delete a specific account, I can get the details of a specific account, or I can just list all accounts. But if we've worked with the REST API in the past, we know that none of this works without logging on first. So we do need to log on. We can cybr-cli log on and get the flags that we need in order to do this. It returned an error, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and log on to my instance in the cloud. And we're going to give it an auth type of LDAP. We're going to give it a base URL of https cybr-cli.com. And now pause while, not cybr-cli.com. It's going to be cybr-cli.joegarcia.dev. And then we're going to say our username is going to be my username. And now it'll ask me for a password so that I don't have to enter it in on the command line. It won't save to history, won't print to plain text or anything like that. It's all masked. So I'm going to give it my password to log in over LDAP to my EPV instance in the clouds. And we should get back that we successfully logged on to PaaS as my user. So that's good. We're good to go. We've got that done. There's a config file that's written, but it's encoded, so it can't just be like plain text read. It contains my session token and a couple other variables that we need to keep a state on throughout the life of the CLI, so we're not having to constantly log in for everything that we do. But from there, we've logged in and we can start doing things. So like if we look back up here at our cyber accounts, we can list. So we can do cyber accounts list, and I'll get back a list of all of the accounts that I have access to see as the user that I'm logged in with. And we can see down here at the bottom, the count is 35. All of this is returned in JSON. So that means that I can start to pipe these commands into something like JQ that parses JSON and take even further action to filtering this list down and making it more pretty for human consumption. But really this should be utilized with like shell scripts, PowerShell scripts, things like that to really ease your interaction with our API. But it's also human user friendly as well. So we can keep that in mind. So that's listing accounts. We can get a specific account here. If we do cyber accounts get, and then we pick like this ID here, the last ID we got 23. And then we can, whoops, that's a -I flag, sorry. And then we can get just that one returned, and it's a little bit easier to understand. You will need to use the account ID in these cases. The account ID is a unique primary key in our secure digital vault. You are not going to be able to use an object name or anything like that in order to do this. Also, you're not going to print plain text any passwords or anything like that, so there's nothing to worry about with that. It'll tell you the secret type, but it won't bring back the secret value at all, so you're not going to be printing plain text passwords here. We've also got applications that can be managed here. We can add, delete, and list application IDs, but then even furthermore, once you add an application identity, you can add authentication methods to it. Path, hash, allowed machines, all of the normal ones that you would have if you're looking through our Password Vault web access at the application identity page where you're adding these methods on. You can list them, you can delete them. Deleting them requires the authentication method ID, so you will need to list and then delete to get that ID. It's specifically given for each individual authentication method. We also have cyber safes, which you can add, delete, list, and update. We also have a subcommand of member, so we can go member, and right now all that we have is listing those members per safe, but there'll be more expansion here as time goes on. And then finally, if we go back to cyber help, we should see that we can log off as well. So we can check the version, we can check the help at any level, but then cyber log off will remove that file, that config file that was created, and will log off of PAS as a whole. So that's just basically like me logging off manually from the Password Vault web access. But don't worry, if you don't log off, that session token will invalidate after 30 minutes of user inactivity. So even if you happen to not log off or remove the config file, within 30 minutes, that session token is going to expire. So there's not much to worry about from that front. And at the end of the day, if somebody happens to get your session token and you're just a normal user, not logged in as an admin or anything like that, they're only going to get the same privileges that you do. But at the end of the day, I don't think we really have anything to worry about from that perspective. So this is where we're at. We have conjure commands that are coming on board, but for right now, we can automate CCP, which is our central credential provider. We can automate credential providers and their life cycle. We can automate rapid onboarding of accounts and safes. And then we can also deprovision those as well through the CLI in an easy fashion. So definitely take a look at this, go through the help, do some tests and play with it. And hopefully everybody enjoys this v0.0.4-alpha release of the Cyber CLI. We'll talk to everybody next time for hopefully a GA release once we get Conjure in there and test it out a little bit. Maybe we can bump this thing from alpha to beta for that. And then hopefully get this thing going GA, and then we can start having some customers use it. So it's good talking to you. Hope you enjoyed my release notes, and we'll talk again soon.